artist from Salet Bangladesh, will be singing Ami Bangla Ganga. Happy New Year and welcome to the ceremonial swearing in of our newly elected mayor and city council members. We are grateful to be here together in this place and appreciate the Hamtramck Public Schools administration and staff for being so welcoming to the city of Hamtramck for this event. Let's give them a round of applause. Hamtramck has always been home to immigrants, and over the years, a place where new immigrants have laid layers of culture upon layers of existing culture. What could be more American than having our residents, our immigrant families, venture into local politics? Today, we are witness to the reality of the American dream. We are witness to the opportunity of living in a country where anyone can achieve their dream. Today, our newly elected officials will take the oath that will not only start their term of office, but they will make a public commitment to the duty, the responsibility, and the obligation of holding that office. Today, what we all know, that the Hamtramck we know and experience as a welcoming community where people want to live, where they want to work, where they want to raise their family, where they want to build a business, and where they want to visit. It'll be shared with the rest of the world. Today, the spotlight is on Hamtramck because of our all-Muslim City Council. But tomorrow the work begins, and we will show that Hamtramck, our historically immigrant city, will continue to be a shining example of how diversity in our dense city is welcoming to all, and how we exhibit inclusion for all. We will work together to address the challenges and seek opportunities to solve the issues that are facing us in 2022 and beyond. It's my hope that the spotlight that shines today will shine even brighter in the future when, by working together as a community, we will showcase the Hamtramck we know and love to the rest of the world. Please join me in welcoming Maria Saad, a 14-year-old Yemeni American student who will lead us in our national anthem. Please stand. While our current mayor and our former mayor together lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to recognize any dignitaries in the room, elected officials for the city of Hamtramck, for the Board of Education, or for other public offices. We have members, we have Stephanie King, State Representative. We have our school board superintendent, Nabil Naji here. We have John Hall, and our school board superintendent. Are there any others? Thank you for coming. And our former councilman, former Mayor Pro Tem, but not elementary. At this time, I'd like to introduce someone who's no stranger to any of you, and I know is known by all. Our former mayor, Mayor Karen Majewski, who holds a PhD in American culture, who has served our city in a dignified manner since 2006, who owns and operates Tekla Vintage on Joseph Campo, married to her husband Matt, and some remarks that we want to hear from our former mayor as she leaves office and as she welcomes our new elected officials.
Thank you, everyone. Witam, mirsevini, merhaba, dobrodošli, laskovo prosimo, shagatam, welcome. Welcome, everyone, to this historic inauguration of our new mayor and 3 new city council members. As a veteran of many of these ceremonies, I know how deeply meaningful and moving they are to the newly elected officials, to their families, to you, their neighbors, colleagues, and friends. I know the mixture of excitement and apprehension, of expectation and uncertainty that accompanies the assumption of these responsibilities, responsibilities that are sure to weigh heavy on their shoulders. To the gravity of these positions must be added national and even international scrutiny as Hamtramck once again makes history, this time as the first city in the United States with an entirely Muslim elected city government. Hamtramck continues to provide an example of the American dream writ small, the American dream as it unfolds on the narrow streets and close-knit neighborhoods of our little city. 2.2 square miles that have come to represent so much more to people all over the world. The world tells our story as a metaphor in which we become disembodied symbols for the nation's hopes and ideals, its struggles and anxieties. But each of you knows this story personally, in the everyday lives we live together, in the great and small ways we interact with each other, in the ways we challenge each other, and in what we learn from each other. Our newly elected officials will have much to learn as they assume the difficult roles ahead of them. Just as Hamtramck can look different to those watching us from the outside, the assumptions with which officials come into office will often be challenged by the new knowledge and broad perspectives they will assimilate as decision makers. I know you all join me in wishing them well as they embark on this often difficult and occasionally satisfying path. May they and may we prosper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to our District Court Judge, Judge Alexis Grace Krot. She's been our District Court Judge since her appointment in 2016. She's a graduate of Tulane University, Loyola University, and the University of Detroit Mercy. Judge Krot will administer the oath of office to each newly elected official. The oath of office is certainly important. It's a ceremonial gesture signifying that that elected official is ready to start their term of office. Importantly for us, it means that this official is making that public commitment in front of all of you to take on the duty, the responsibility, and the obligation associated with holding that office. And with that, Judge Krot will call up each individual member, swear them in, they'll remain standing, and then we will stand together and congratulate all of them. Judge Krot.
you for being here. It's my honor to perform this duty of swearing in our new city electeds. Mayor Gleb, will be first. Our next mayor, Mayor Gleb, is a husband and father of 3 daughters, Mayesam, Ansam, Balsam. He was born and raised in Yemen until the age of 18 when he came to the United States. He finished his final year of high school here at Hamtramck High School while working a factory job after school. Mayor-elect Khalil then attended Henry Ford Community College and transferred to Wayne State University where he earned a bachelor's degree in biological science. He has a second bachelor's degree in health and nursing science from Indiana Wesleyan University. He finished his medical school education at Krot University School of Medicine and is working toward obtaining his full medical board certification as a medical doctor. He currently works at Hamtramck Medical Group, and Mayor-elect Gleb is also a poet and has an unpublished book of Arabic poetry. He is a community and political activist.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
That I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
Mayor of the City of Hamtramck,
according to the best of my ability. Councilman-elect Adam Albarmaki was also born and raised in Yemen. His family immigrated to the United States when he was 14. And I think most of us have family history that can agree with what he says here. They found Hamtramck to be the perfect environment for transitioning to a new life while surrounded by family and friends. He spent the first few years in the United States learning English and integrating into his family's new community. He also attended Hamtramck Public Schools, where he found inspiration to pursue a professional practice committed to serving people. Councilman-elect Albarmaki is a senior in the electrical engineering program at Wayne State University, where he is involved in multiple student organizations. Councilman-elect Albarmaki encourages youth to seek higher education.
Adam Albarmaki, solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
And the Constitution of the State of Michigan.
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan.
And I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of
of
Hamtramck City Councilman,
Hamtramck City Councilman,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Councilwoman-elect Amanda Jaczkowski works for United Way for Southeastern Michigan as the Agency Relations Specialist, where she facilitates relationships with and between nonprofits in Southeast Michigan. She earned a Master in Public Administration from Wayne State University. Councilwoman-elect Jaczkowski participates in multiple Hamtramck community groups, including the 3C7 Midtown Block Club, Hamtramck Mutual Aid, and the Hamtown Trashies, and would love for you to be involved too. Councilwoman-elect Jaczkowski loves soccer, reading, drinking tea, and her cats.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
And that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
that I
will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Hamtramck City Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And the last, but certainly not least, of our new electeds for today is Councilman-elect Khalil Refai. Councilman-elect Khalil Refai works for Louis Logistic Company as an operation manager. He specializes in safety, quality, resources, and overseeing the operation of the company. He is a former student of Hamtramck Public Schools and a longtime community activities organizer. Councilman-elect Refai serves as a chaplain in both the Hamtramck Police Department and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. He is a leader in the community where he focuses on building bridges between different communities and city government. He hopes to make Hamtramck a beautiful city for current and other individuals to live, invest, and to visit.
I, Khalil Refai,
Solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of City Council of Hamtramck City Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Judge Krot. At this time, I would invite Councilman Mohammed Alsomiri to stand and join the group, and Councilman Mohammed Hassan to stand and join the group. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Hamtramck City Council. We're going to have each of our council members make a brief remark. We will start with Councilman Albarmaki. And the rest of you can sit down for a moment and I'll call your name.
Firstly, I would like to thank everyone who made the time to join us today for this ceremony. Your engagements in Hamtramck political service to motivate the leaders and hold us accountable. I would like to thank everyone who took the time to vote in these elections and encouraging the others to register and let their voice be heard in the future election. Now that the election has been come to close, it's time to focus on the problem at hand. I hope that you all maintain the energy displayed during the election season. Never be afraid to call out leaders if you feel they are not serving you the best interest. To the others, government officials of Hamtramck, I would like to work side by side in this challenge time to develop unique solution to our complex problem. I would like to send a special thanks to my wife and to my friend Fadl al-Marsumi, Mohammed al-Misri, and to my leader and mentor Ibrahim al-Gahim. To these leaders who believe in me and provided me with guidance along the way. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, and special thanks to the Captain Jamil al-Tahi who came from our district.
Thank you so much. At this time, Councilman Refai.
Good afternoon, everyone. Peace be upon all of you here today. I want to thank all of you for attending this event. As you all know, my name is Khalil Refai, your new City Council member as of today. I am so proud to serve as council in this great, beautiful city. Hamtramck has been a part of me for many years, and I always wanted to take part in making the city a beautiful place. There is no place like Hamtramck. With the help and support of many people and residents, I was able to win the primary and the general election with the highest votes. I believe people want change, which I have explained to residents my goals. I want to not be here without the help and support from many of you here today. Many of you supported my campaign from donations and volunteering, which many helped me knock doors to reach out to citizens and help during election days. And of course, I want to not be here for the ones who believed in me and voted for me to be their next city council. So for that, I want to thank first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thank my family, friends, supporters, community leaders, and every Hamtramck resident who voted for me, and also who didn't. I promise that I will work with my colleagues and city administration to do what's best for the city and its residents. I want you to promise me that you're willing to engage with city officials to make a Hamtramck beautiful city to live, to invest, and to visit. Thank you everybody once again. Stay safe. God bless.
Thank you, Councilman. At this time, Councilwoman Amanda Jaczkowski.
I'm shorter than them. Peace be with you all. Hi, how are you? Happy afternoon, Happy New Year, all of that fun stuff. So I just really want to say thank you all for being here today, because this is really the end of the campaign and the beginning of the work that we're doing. And like my colleagues have said, we couldn't be here without all of you. Everyone here participated in the elections in one way or the other, whether it was voting, whether it was working a campaign, whether it was supporting us emotionally, whether it's bringing us food while we don't have time because we're knocking too many doors like my mom did. So I made a lot of friends along the way. I've made a lot of great relationships along the way, and I hope to continue to strengthen those, and I hope to continue to make new ones, and I hope you will all be emailing me frequently with your issues and questions and concerns so that I can help you get the things that you need from the city of Hamtramck. And so, like others, I really want to thank all of you. I want to thank my family, my dad, my mom, my niece Esther's there, Jamil's there, and then my friends Lynn and Angie are sitting here. I have more friends out in the crowd. We're having a good time today, and I'm glad that you're all here to celebrate with us. So thank you for being here once again, and we'll talk soon.
Now, while today is about the ceremonial swearing in of these new officials, we have two returning council members with us and one who is traveling today. Councilman Chowdhury could not be with us today. He's traveling from Bangladesh home here to Hamtramck. At this time, I call Councilman Hassan up to share a few remarks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Judge, former mayor, new mayor, existing council members, new council members, former council members, my community leaders, brother and sister. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Adab. Again, welcome to the historical event, historical moment today. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making that happen. Fields of path is not ready. It's not easy. We're going to work together as a one community, as a one team, as a one Hamtramck. God bless America. God bless city of Hamtramck. Thanks again.
Thank you, Councilman. At this time, Councilman Mohamed Alsomiri.
السلام عليكم. أهلا وسهلا بكل الأخوة والأخوات اللي حضروا للتشريف النيو مير and the council. Good afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome the mayor and the council. I promise to work all together, make the Hamtramck safe and great. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we've heard from all of our council members. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our newly elected mayor, Mayor Amir Khalil, and he will be giving his first mayoral address to our community.
Happy New Year and Happy New Hamtramck. I'm very humbled and honored to stand before you all today as the next mayor of Hamtramck. Thank you, Hamtramck residents, for making this historic inauguration a possibility. And an opportunity that was once a dream, a reality. Together as a community, we have become an exception to what was previously considered impossible. Thank you for putting your faith and trust in my leadership. To my family, my parents, my wife and daughters, thank you for supporting me in all circumstances, standing by my side and building me up during even the most stressful of times. To our elected officials, city officials, distinguished guests, especially those who came from out of the state, thank you for being a part of this monumental experience, as this is a victory for all. My advisory committee for the past 6 months except my friend and the ones who supervise the team, Adam and Harvey, who was traveling and couldn't make it today. Thank you so much for your hard work and for being there for me whenever I needed you. You were one of the most effective and productive teams I ever worked with. And this achievement is the fruit of your efforts, which marks the beginning of a new chapter in our city's history. Thank you so much. Our outgoing city council members, I only see one of them here, my friend, Father Marsumi. Thank you for your commitment, dedication, and service to our community. To our former mayor, Dr. Karen Bayaski, our community owes you a debt of gratitude for what you have done for our city. Your endless love and your service to our city for so many years are greatly appreciated. Thank you for your collaborative efforts in making the transitional process a seamless one. I look forward to working with you to better serve our city. Ladies and gentlemen, over 21 years ago, in the summer of 2000, I graduated from this high school, Hamtramck High School. Days before graduation, my advisor called me to the office to evaluate my transcripts, which noted I completed up to 11th grade in Yemen on my senior year in Hamtramck High. She then looked at me and said, "What do you want to study when you go to college?" I answered without hesitance, political science. She looked at me surprisingly and said, "Political science? Why would you waste your talent in politics?" She said, "Look at your grades, all A's in physics, biology, chemistry, algebra, geometry, and calculus, and you want to study politics?" I responded back and said, "But I also have A's in American history, economics, and government classes." She said, "That's true, but I don't think you have any future in politics in this country. You will always have an accent when you speak English," which is true, I believe in that. "And your background will not be in your favor." I thought about what she said, and after hearing the same concerns and recommendations from other trustworthy people, I decided to go for my second favorite field of interest, which was medicine. And after 10 years of studying medicine and many years of serving my community in the healthcare field, I decided to come back and embrace my first love, politics. I came back knowing that being a public servant requires no specific field of study or specific titles, rather it requires a passion and commitment. I did not come back empty-handed. Rather, I brought with me a lot of knowledge and skills, as well as some crucial ethical principles that I learned in medical school that helped shape my personality and contributed to who I am today. Autonomy is one of them, where the interest of the patients comes first, as they taught us. Their opinions matter the most, and they decide for themselves, and we cannot decide for them. As the mayor of Hamtramck, I will ensure that all residents will have the right to autonomy, and we will lend a listening ear to what they have to say. Justice is another ethical principle that I learned in my career, where we need to treat and serve everyone equally, no matter their background, their values, their lifestyle, who they love, or the color of their skin. It's only ethical to be just and fair to everyone. Beneficence, non-maleficence is another one, which simply means to do good and do no harm to your clients. If I can't help you, I will never do anything intentionally to harm you. These principles, in addition to promoting diversity, equality, and opportunity, will guide me as your mayor, and together we can write Hamtramck's next chapter. We will focus on practicing a politics of unity, transparency, and inclusivity, rather than one of division, favoritism, and exclusivity. The philosophy of teamwork and cooperation, instead of that of constant conflict and an endless rivalry. Dear Hamtramckans, we have many challenges ahead of us, and we can only face those challenges if we work together. We will continue to search for solutions and for hope with no despair. And as once said by a great Yemeni poet, Dr. Abdulaziz al-Maqarih, searching for hope and late in the midst of darkness, he said, "We will continue to dig on the wall. Either we make an opening for the light to pass through, or we die on the face of the wall. Our pickaxes will catch no despair, nor boredom of retraction." As your mayor, I'll keep the line of communication open between the city government and the residents. We will improve communication by delivering messages to residents in a language comprehensible to them. We will keep them well informed should issues arise, and will not take decisions behind closed doors without taking the ideas of stakeholders into consideration. Although I can't promise that we may not always see eye to eye, what I can promise is that we will never refuse to negotiate and learn from each other's differences. I'm a big believer of constructive dialogue, where we can always meet halfway, unless the interest of the city lies toward one end of the line. We will implement preventative measures by educating our residents to keep our city clean, safe, and free of any risky behaviors such as speeding and reckless driving. We will work toward improving our public safety by supporting our police and firefighters and making sure that they are well trained to keep us safe. By working with the county, state, and the federal government, we will do our best to solve our city's chronic problems. What took decades to develop cannot be fixed in 1 or 2 years. However, fixing the streets and alleys, expediting the process of lead pipe replacement, repairing the sewer system, and balancing our city's budget are some of the priorities and long-term goals that we together can work toward accomplishing. In 2 days, I'll chair the first City Council meeting. In these trying times, I can assure you that I will set bold yet attainable goals for our city. And though we may not be able to resolve our current issues by the end of the first meeting I chair, let's remain optimistic about our future and continue to strive for a better Hamtramck. If we would like to see change happen, we must make an impact. An impact comes from action. I promise you action. Once again, thank you for trusting in my leadership. Let's get to work. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, please be seated as I call Augustus Williamson to the stage. He's Detroit's own acclaimed baritone singer, and he is a veteran Detroit theater actor, and I thank him for being with us today.
Thank you all. I first want to recognize Mr. Bill Myers, who put the music together for this program. I would like to sing a song that was made famous by Paul Robeson. It was later recorded by Frank Sinatra, and it became a political song that he often did for conventions for the Republican and Democratic Party. It's a song that's written for all people of this great land. We changed a couple of words to address the diversity and the uniqueness of this small town in the middle of America. And again, I'd like to say congratulations to all our newly elected officials and to all those who've served the people of Hamtramck. Would you give them an applause, please? What is America to me? A name, a map, or a flag I see. A certain word, democracy. What is America to me? The house I live in, plot of earth, the street, the grocers and the bakers, and the people that I air of feeling free. All races and religions, that's America to me. The house I live in, my neighbors white and black, the people who just came here or from generations back, the howdies and the handshake, the air of feeling free, the right to speak my mind out, that's America to me. The things I see about me, the goodness everywhere, the land of wealth and beauty, but enough for all to share. The weddings and the churchyard, the laughter and the tears, the dream of me that's been growing for about 100 years. The town I live in, the street, the house, the room, the pavement of the city, and the gardens all in bloom, the church, the mosque, the schoolhouse, the million lights I see, especially the people, that's Hamtramck to me. And especially the people, that's America to me. It's been a privilege and an honor. Now the next song we're going to do is a civil rights song. We shall overcome. And I'd like to invite the ladies back up to assist me. Maria Saad and Anamika Roy. Would you give me that? We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
আমরা করব জয়, আমরা করব জয়, আমরা করব জয় একদিন। ওহো বুকের গভীরে আছে প্রত্যয়, আমরা করব জয় নিশ্চয়।
participate. We're going to sing We Shall Overcome. So you can all stand right now and try to sing along with this song. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
One more round of applause. Bill Meyer, Anamika Roy, Augustus Williamson, Maria Saab, and David Reinstein on the flute and saxophone. Thank you all for providing music for us today. This concludes our official program. Thank you for attending. We look forward to our organizational meeting on Tuesday, which will be held in person at the Hamtramck City Council chambers. We'll be taking official photos, and then afterwards, if you'd like to come up with your own camera, you can feel free to do so. At this time, I want to hand the mic over for one last word from our new mayor, Khalil.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today and sharing this moment with us. I would like, at the end, to thank all those people who supported me from near and far in any way or form. And at the end, we would like to announce what would be the Yemeni American State Cup in Soccer Championship, to find out where would it take place this year. And I would like to invite the one who's responsible for it, Fawaz and your team. He's going to announce which state will host the Yemeni American Soccer Championship, which would include about 16 teams for this year. So you can open the envelope and see if I can open it.
It's gotta be here. It's gotta be here.
Here in Hamtramck.
Gotta be here.
Let's hear the main sponsor.
I called it out.
You got it.
It would be Michigan. It would be one of the cities, or the main city that will host this great event for this year. 16 soccer teams will join us from all over the United States. It will be a great opportunity for our small businesses to flourish and for the hotels around this area. I am looking forward to joining this championship, and thank you for the organizer, those people who came from out of the state and the ones from Michigan. Thank you so much. We'll see you then. And one last thing, but not least, we would like to thank our city manager. I want her to hear me. We would like to thank our city manager, Kathy, for getting this work done and organizing this event. Thank you so much for all your efforts and your team in coordinating this inauguration event successful. Thank you so much. I would like to thank our judge for leading the ceremonial of today.